I'm Lena Abrahamsson. I'm professor in human work science at Luleå University of Technology, and I'm also a scientific leader for something that we call Creaternity. It's a play with words. It's Creaternity. It's my university's strategic investment in circular research in circular economy and digitalization. So it's just a research area that we are trying to build up quite big. It's covering the whole university. So let's see if this is functioning. So I will talk about work environment and gender equality in the green and digital industrial transition. And I will also say something about how to navigate between utopia and dystopia. First of all, I want to just show you this. Because when we talk about the green industrial revolution, transition, perhaps is more the correct word. It's also the digital one. And this one is happening quite a lot in the north of Sweden. It manifests itself in large investments. They are building new factories, new mines, new energy systems, and also a lot of innovation that's going on, and a lot of research, of course. But also what we could see, neo-industrialization. It brings with it a lot of hope to the north of Sweden, but also among other places in Europe. So I think it's nothing special with the north of Sweden, but it's quite a focus right now. And we can see some core parts of this is it's electrification. As I said, circular economy, new materials, a lot of research in new materials, and also, as I said, new factories. We see digitalization, automation, connectivity, AI, of course, as Dieter just explained to us, and what I will come to explain a little bit later, Industry 4.0. And what we see in Europe, it's a huge more demands on research on this, and especially research that places people, all type of women and men, in the core, in the center of the technology development. And this could be, I think the words that are used in European Union is human-centered technology development. And it's supposed to support the functionality of the green and digital technology and to develop inclusive, attractive, and safe workplaces. And the last sentence there, the last wordings there is it's mine, because we really want to put the workplaces and work environment and health and safety in this research. So we have started a new project that we call Attract, a roadmap for attractive, inclusive, and safe mining work. And we have chosen the mining industry as an example for how to do this. And we're working closely together with the mining companies to develop this kind of roadmap, how to do this. We are fully aware that we need to do this, but the question is how, and there's a lot of research we need to do to come closer. You see this picture is from one of the mining companies that are showing the context where we're doing our research. So, dystopia and utopia, and these discussions around dystopia and utopia, as the previous speaker mentioned, there's a lot of critical questions and also a lot of more dystopian questions when it comes to new technology. And it has always followed new technology, not only AI and not only digitalization, but all the industrial revolutions have, you see down here, very small text, but it's the first industrial revolution, the second and the third. Perhaps we now are in the third industrial revolution, and there's a lot of talk about, because the third industrial revolution is automation and computerization. And the fourth one is digitalization and connectivity, and this is quite often called Industry 4.0. And today we see that there's a lot of talk, especially in European Union, that talk about Industry 5.0, and that's when you connect digitalization and sustainability. So you're connecting in the automation, the digitalization, and the green aspects. So here we have Industry 5.0, and also work environment and the human-centric approach to technology development. But nevertheless, all this kind of technology, when new technology comes into working life, there's always a discussion about dystopia and utopia, on which foot are we going to stand? And the dystopian perspective is that the robot will take over the world, our jobs, we will have increased unemployment, we have a polarization in A and B team, perhaps also C, where you are slaves to the robots, jobs with low pay and poor conditions, and the climate and environmental goals will be difficult to reach because we have more production and then more consumption, and the democracy and the influence will be very difficult because as we heard in the previous speak, lot of these tools that we are used in digitalization, they are owned by global companies. On all the social media, we all know the problems with that when the media are owned by multi-global corporations, quite big. But the utopian, they say different. They say that new and better jobs will be created, and the technology will enable social, sustainable, environmentally friendly and resource-efficient production, and we will have opportunities to increase democracy, all that kind of things. So the picture is quite difficult to see, and we need to navigate between this. We can't be, because both of these, dystopia and utopia, they are quite often technology deterministic ideas about work and about the technology. And as the previous speaker said, the future is in our hand, and that's I really liked about it, because we must take this development and navigate ourselves and not follow this technology pessimistic or technology optimistic. We will develop the technology in a good way. So Industry 4.0, I come back to this now. Sometimes when we talk in industry researchers, they see this as God gifts to humanity, because it will be when they describe it, you see this picture of Lego figures. Yes, I want you to know they're all male. When work is illustrated, it's illustrated by men working. So that can be one, just to remember something. But nevertheless, Industry 4.0 is quite often discussed as smart systems, automation and remote control. And this type will take over the dangerous work and the routine work from humans. And workers instead can focus on the more fun work, the more intelligent work. And the worker will be an expert, a problem solver, the one that makes sure that the production runs smoothly. This sounds quite good. So you see the different type of tasks that will be in the future, where we can use the digitalization and the new technology, the super strength operator, the augmented operator, the virtual, that we work with virtual reality, or the healthy operator, that we actually have these kind of sensors. The detection of fault, for example, can be one tool for that. But also the smarter, the collaborative, the social, and the analytical work task that we probably will have in the future. Well, if you take this optimistic perspective. So my point is that the future will not as bad as the dystopic and not as positive as this kind of utopia perspective, but it will be changes, of course, and it will be not as rapid as and not as total as this kind of almost naive visions predict, but there will be quite large changes, and we need to see what effect will this have on how will industrial work change, new context and new conditions. But we can also discuss, will there be big changes or will there be more of the same, but just different? So I will try to explain to you a little bit about what will happen. If I go to the example of the research in the mining industry, we have followed it, and I have followed it for almost 20 years, more than 20 years actually. And I see the changes, they are happening. And we can see this move from the old mining worker to a digital high-tech worker. This picture is actually 10 years old. It's from the operators and the production center, operator center in Kiruna, up in the north of Sweden. And this is, when this was built, this is the second. They had one before in 2006. So this is not new technology now, this is old technology, but this is how mining works. These are underground workers, but they are sitting above ground, but they are controlling the machines underground with remote control. So we see this quite big change here, what mining work is. And following by that, the workplace culture, the mining identity, and what real mine work are gradually changing. It's a very slow process. And we can also see that the old macho culture that has been discussed quite a lot when we talk about gender studies of work is slowly becoming obsolete. First of all, we see what's happening here. Will it be better work environment? Or we see, of course, we see much better and more safe work environment. Cleaner, less noise, and all that kind of things. But we see also new work environment problems coming connected to the new technology. Stress, high workload, repetitive tasks, more complex maintenance work, for example. And we see better surveillance of health, safety, and performance. We see real-time monitoring and positioning of both individuals and machines. People want to be found if there is an accident happening. People want to be saved, rescued. But also, the negative part of this is detailed control and surveillance of individuals. As you all know, this is quite a huge discussion. We see also new places and context. We see this move from the old underground environment into a white-collar environment, quite office-like. These mining operators working in the control room, they have better work environment than I have at the university. So this is a very different type of place they are working in. But also you have to say critical questions to this, because there's a long distance to the mining phase and of the underground workers, and there is also new power and status differences, a polarization, a fragmentization, where A and B and C team here, because the work underground is still seen as more real than working in the control room. We see better work tasks and work organizations, at least new types of work tasks, but we see also fragmentization of knowledge and tasks. We see new ways of organizing work. There's a lot of talk about teamwork and agile organizations, but we also see fewer jobs, fewer workmates, more isolated work. You work alone with a robot, for example. And we see a new workplace culture coming, higher demands on safety culture, attractive workplaces, responsibility, trust. All these are words that are very powerful in the work organization. But the problem is how to do this in reality, because you have long distances and distributed workplaces. You don't see your fellow workmates, and quite complex and opposing interests. We see new skills and jobs. new skills, higher qualification demands, but as I said, also fragmentization. We see new forms of employment and recruitment strategies. In other industries, we have seen this kind of global crowdsourcing of labor, the digital platform, the gig jobs. It has not yet been so big in the mining industry, but it's coming. So we have all the problems from that coming in here, perhaps. So what we see that will be a new type of mining workers in the future that will be recruited, and also a change of the existing one. We see also more gender equality. As I said, the macho culture has been toned down at least. We see more women workers, and thanks to the better environment, but also to the higher qualification demands, because women are quite well educated. And we also see there is a thing that this kind of discussion of green also attract more women to the industry. And we see that especially the women are working with the new digitalized work tasks, for example, the autonomous trucks. And we see better work environments for women, clearly improved attitudes and workplace culture. In our interviews, we see a lot of positive aspects. You see this picture here. The old type of macho culture at mining workplaces is progressively becoming obsolete, and the connection to the macho masculinity releases. This is the hope, especially that the mining companies, they really hope this. So when you ask them, they are saying, yes, we have no problem right now. 5 years ago, perhaps. And when I did interviews 5 years ago, they say exactly the same time, the same thing. They said, now we have no problem, but 5 years ago. So something is not right here. But at least there is a positive attitudes right now, but the problems remain. The new technology meets a reluctant context, and the reluctant context to a very high degree is built up on the old gender patterns at the workplaces. The mining workplaces, they have a very old history. They are male. There is a male mining worker identity and workplace culture, and this had its roots in the old mining work. It's connected to the old. You see the picture here is a real mining worker is a man. He's brave, he's big, he's strong, and he works underground, really underground, and he works with manual work. So he needs to have all these kind of gears. You see this picture very different from the first one I showed you, where they were sitting in the office-like control room. So we have a mining worker masculinity still there at the workplaces. So the workplace culture is quite conservative, and it lags behind development, at least in the beginning. And example of how the workplace culture is lagging behind is glorifying the history, the old time, saying that it was better before when we have not so many, without the digitalization, without automation, where we were able to understand and see and feel and listen and sense the rock, for example, to have this kind of knowledge. And they're also glorifying the macho masculinity. They are following the old symbols rather than the new ones, and they're aiming to keep even if it's unintended, but all this is keeping the mining work male. And this is creating somewhat paradoxical resistance, at least in the beginning. We have seen that we see the male mining workers, they are resistant to new technology. That's quite a surprise, because in many other situations, masculinity and new technology are quite tight connected. But here it's not, because the new technology is threatening the old mining work, where it's quite important for the workplace culture. But also there is a resistance towards against safety, against gender equality, against women miners, and also the green awareness. So there's a lot of quite problematic, something totally different than the companies like to do. So this resistance, even if it's after a time this will tone down, and we have seen that it's getting less and less of this type of resistance behavior, but it's still there. And what does this mean for the work of the future? And we see one of the questions that I like to ask, and I have some upcoming research here, that the question is, will the new mining work, if this will be digitalized, automated, and then totally, as I said, totally new type of mining work, will the new mining work become as male as the old one, but only different? Because all this kind of neo-industrialization, the investment in digitalization and the green industrial transition, all these are investments in male-dominated industries and also male-dominated areas of expertise. And we see that both the old technology, the mining, the industrial work, these are connected to men and masculinity, and also the new things, the high tech, the computers, the gaming, AI, programming, digital technology, all that kind of things. They are also male gendered and concrete male dominated areas of interests and expertise and part of working life. So if you combine male dominated with another male dominated area, will that mean that we will have more women working in the industry? So I'm not sure. And we also see that we have this interplay with feminization of the green. And also some of the new digitalized work tasks. Perhaps we will see that inside the industry, we will see a new type of gendered organizations, new work tasks that will be seen as feminine, and other work tasks that will be seen as male. So new gender-based division of work within the mining industry. Perhaps we will see that. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing, but we see tendencies that this is perhaps can happen. And I will also raise some critical questions, and this is what we are discussing in our ongoing research. Will the green become the enemy of the good work? We have in our previous projects seen tendencies that when the industrial companies, both in mining and in steel industry and pulp and paper, all the big industries, the base industries, when they are investing in new green and digital technology, the work environment, the workers, the workplaces, they are not included in the projects in an active and strategic way. They are not taking the chance to create a good work environment at the same time as they are creating the green. They are doing this kind of green investments. So I think this is a risk. And they are also not using the knowledge about work organization and work environment as part of the methods for the development, implementation, and use of the new technology. So here we have the risk. We have the chance. It's a risk, but we need to be aware of it, and we need to put it in. Hopefully we'll see something because of the very strong, for a moment, very strong emphasis on Industry 5.0. Hopefully we will see resilient, sustainable and human-centric production systems in the future. Because even if they are not using the knowledge in the projects, most 99% of all the technology development projects are not using the knowledge, but they talk a lot about it, and they really want to know something about it. So they want to know about humans' role in the technology system, And for me, that this is the core in my research, my own research. I'm quite glad that they are asking me questions, because they are seeing this as a tool for achieve flexibility and resilience. And we hopefully will see it included in new technology development projects. And as I said, Industry 5.0 is a relative new concept within EU for digital, resilient and sustainable production system. It's an updated version of Industry 4.0 where the green and people are added. But we need, of course, this sounds all very good, but we need to be critical to this also. There can be quite a some hidden agenda here. But nevertheless, they are asking for more human-centric design of technology and organization. So I think this can be our chance to make an impact and take the future in our hands. But I also want to raise a little risk here, but how is gender equality included in Industry 5.0? I have no idea. This is all quite new. We'll see what will happen. So we cannot stop digitalization, as Dietmar said, and we can't stop other new technology, and AI, it will come. But we need to understand what's good and what's bad, and we'll need to learn to navigate between, we not fall in the traps to just talk, to take the strand from utopia or dystopia. We need to decide what kind of workplaces we want to tomorrow. It's up to us. So the digital and green industrial transformation needs socio-technical research that places people, all types of women and men in center of technology development. But it also needs research that includes knowledge about humans, work and workplaces and organization. And we need research not only about the work and workplaces, but also of the management of occupational safety and health of the future. How to do this in the work environment of the future. So I think I stop here and see if there is some questions.